Well, welcome everyone. My name is Allie Barton. I'm with the Education Alliance. The Alliance exists to mobilize business and community support for public schools. And one of the things we're passionate about is partnerships that increase college access for students. Today's virtual college visit is made possible with support from West Virginia Gear Up. We're excited to be visiting WVU today for a 50-minute, but probably about 45-minute tour. I will be stopping 3 times during today's tour for chatting Q&A. And teachers, we encourage you to participate. We have a $20 gift card that will be randomly drawn at the end of the call. So one lucky winner that joins our chat challenge will win. When I ask a question, please pause and talk to your students and then chat your class answers. Also, students, if you have questions, you can send those to us in chat and one of our presenters will do their best to answer your question. So let's practice for a minute. I'd like you to chat what school you are from and how many students are with you today. So please go to your chat box and let us know how many students are with you and which schools are participating today. Okay, while you guys are, thank you. While you all are completing that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the tour over to David Westfall at West Virginia University to get us started. David?
Hey there, everybody. We are super excited that you are here visiting WVU with us today. I have some great friends who are here with me who are going to show you a little bit about campus and talk to you about some of our different clubs, traditions, academic opportunities, and just student life here at WVU. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Maddie and Tyler, who are over in our Basketball Hall of Traditions.
Hey y'all, welcome to West Virginia University. Just for us, if you can hear us, go ahead and give us a little bit of a thumbs up that you can hear us so we know we are, oh, perfect. We are actually on location today in our West Virginia University Basketball Hall of Traditions. So maybe Tyler, you can pan around a little bit if you want to. This is where we are able to take a trip down memory lane and really reminisce on some of Mountaineer basketball glory days for women's and men's basketball here at WVU. So if we have any basketball fans out there, definitely this is an exciting place for you guys to visit. But just a little bit about me, my name is Maddie, and I actually just graduated in December with a degree in marketing and an area of emphasis in sales. And I'm from about an hour and a half south of Morgantown in Randolph County, West Virginia. I actually know that we have a few high schools kind of near the area on with us today, but I actually went to Elkins High School, #Go Tigers. But I do have a very close friend of mine that went to Chapmanville High School, so special shout out to Chapmanville High School. But I do want to talk a little bit more about traditions, as athletics is a huge part of our traditions here at WVU. So we actually have 20 NCAA championships to the school's name. 19 of them are actually held by one sport. Now, y'all don't have to unmute, but maybe if you want to put in the chat, does anybody know what the sport is at WVU that holds 19 NCAA championships? Give you a second. Maybe you could just yell it out in your classroom. 3, 2, 1. It is rifle. So our rifle team has 19 NCAA championships here at WVU, which is really fantastic. And we actually have students that go on to be Olympians every single time that there is an Olympics, which I think is really awesome. And we have had Mountaineers win the gold, which is really cool. Another cool thing about our traditions here in the Basketball Hall of Traditions in particular is that we actually have our head coach, Bob Huggins. He actually just got inducted into the Basketball Hall of Traditions in the NCAA, which is really, really exciting. So if you've been a long time Mountaineer basketball fan, you know that this has been a long time coming for Huggy Bear. So we are really, really proud to be, especially in this building today. But going on with athletics, we are a Big 12 school here. So that means that we play a lot of teams from all over the country. And as students, we actually get to go to those games for free, which is really, really exciting. Now, Tyler will talk a little bit about a different opportunity that we offer that he's highly involved in about going to those games. But just know, if you come to WVU as a student, you can go to any soccer game, football game, basketball game that your heart desires to go to. So that has definitely been one of my favorite parts about being a Mountaineer here at WVU. Now, going along with traditions, another one of my favorite traditions that I love to highlight, especially to you folks, is going to be called Mountaineer Week. Mountaineer Week is a week that we celebrate our Appalachian heritage here in the state of West Virginia. And of course, as you guys are all from West Virginia, this is something that is really, really important to me, and I think would be important to you guys as well. We're going to do a variety of different things. We're going to eat, there's pepperoni rolls for free all over campus, which is awesome. Biscuits and gravy, collard green, and all the good stuff. There are different bluegrass bands set up all over campus. There are Appalachian folklore stations, and they will do this one huge event called the PRT Cram. And the PRT Cram is where we take one of our little PRT cars. If you're not so familiar with what a PRT car is, I would say that it's probably maybe like 10 feet long, maybe that's a stretch, and about 4 or 5 feet wide, and it fits about 12 passengers comfortably. We'll take all the doors and windows off of it, and we will see how many students we can cram into that PRT car. Now, if I told you normally 12 students fit in a PRT, the record is, drum roll please, 97 girls from the Chi Omega sorority stacked on top of each other like pancakes. So I like to say girl power to that. And that is going to be the record. Now, speaking of girl power, one more tradition that I want to mention today is going to be our Mountaineer mascot. So here at WVU, our mascot is the Mountaineer. And the Mountaineer is a really great way to recognize our state of West Virginia in our school spirit, because the state of West Virginia doesn't have any professional sports teams, as I'm sure you all are well aware of. So when the state of West Virginia is looking for sports teams to root for, they often look for here at WVU, and we are so proud of that. So the Mountaineer gets to travel all over America representing WVU and the state ofEst Virginia, and they get their tuition waived for the year of the Mountaineer, which is really cool. And we actually just selected our newest Mountaineer mascot. She actually won it at a basketball game cheer-off. Who gave the loudest cheer? So she won. Her name is Mary Roush, and I believe she's from Mason County. So I don't know if we have any Mason County friends there with us today, but she is our third female Mountaineer. So the beard is not a requirement, ladies. And also she is one of our youngest Mountaineers that we've ever had too, which is a really, really exciting opportunity to get involved, not only in the community, but also in school. And another way we want to talk about getting involved with school, we're actually gonna pass it over to Tyler. Tyler and I are gonna do do-si-do, switch around, and he's gonna talk about one of his most, the ways that he was able to get involved and what it's led him to now. But I'll switch you spots, Tyler.
Hey everyone, my name is Tyler. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but really excited to get to talk to you today. Like Maddie said, one of the coolest ways to get involved is to join student organizations. And we have so many different student organizations on campus. In fact, we have over 500. And one that is really special to me and special to the building that we are in today is the Mountaineer Maniacs. And the Mountaineer Maniacs is not only the largest student organization on campus, it's the official student section of WVU Athletics. So if you've ever seen on ESPN or anything, those students going crazy at football and basketball games, that's us. And that's something that I've been involved with the past couple of years that I've been at school here. And it is really exciting when you get involved. If you really like sports, it's a great organization to join. Not only do you get to go to all the sporting events for free as a student here, but you get some of the best seats in the house. And I've had the opportunity as a member of the Mountaineer Maniacs to meet all the coaches. So I personally met Bob Huggins and Neil Brown, and I even met our new women's basketball coach that just got that just got initiated to our program over the past weekend. So I've met all the coaches. I've been on ESPN, sitting right behind the announcers at basketball games. It is a really great organization. But that is just one way to get involved. here at WVU, like I said, we have over 500 clubs and organizations. So if you don't like sports and there's other things that you want to enjoy, there's something for everybody. Something that's to do with your classes or your majors in Greek life or other different types of social organizations, or even things that are just an interest to you, like there's video game clubs and everything like that. There's so much to get involved with. And even if you can't find something you like, you can make a brand new club on the spot with you and your friends. So WVU is a great place to get involved, not only just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. And being involved in student organizations is some of the best times that you can have as a Mountaineer. And it's been my favorite times that I've had as a Mountaineer. So really nice talking to you. And I'm going to switch it back over to Maddie to close it out.
All right, y'all. So we've had a great time talking with you guys all about our favorite WVU traditions and ways that we get involved. But we now want to hear from you guys. I hear that you guys might have some questions for us. So we're going to turn our mics off now to be able to hear y'all. But what questions do you have for us in the Hall of Traditions?
The teachers, please ask your students, what is one question you want to ask today? And please put that in the chat. Chat your questions, and we will have them answer those. Well, Maddie, you and Tyler did such a great job.
Thank you so much. And sorry if we seem distracted. I don't know if the mics are catching it up, but we are right above the practice courts for basketball, and we can hear the men's team underneath yelling and carrying on. So sorry if we seem a little distracted.
Hey, Maddie, we've got one question that's come up from
okay. Do we have any esports
esports
here at WVU? That's a great question. We actually do have an esports. Well, we have one student on the team, but his name is Noah, actually. And he was actually, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, he won the championship, the national championship for esports for Madden this year. So you guys, I know you guys are in middle school, you have plenty of time to practice your Madden skills. But he is just the first person on our team, but we are looking to expand our team. So if you are interested in esports, go ahead and reach out to our coaches, and they'd love to talk with you about it.
How do you get on the rifle team?
How do you get on the rifle team? Again, that's going to have to be through coaches. Now we are, to keep up with NCAA compliance, we're technically not allowed to make those conversations for you, but if you reach out to the coaches, they would love to talk with you guys. And I don't ever think it's too early to reach out. So definitely feel free to reach out.
This next one's going to be a question for David later, but the class wants to know how much it costs to go to WVU. So we'll switch that for now.
That's not going to be us, unfortunately. I can barely figure out my own financial aid. Let David figure that one out.
Students wanted to know why we chose the Basketball Hall of Traditions to do this presentation.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we chose the Basketball Hall of Traditions just because it is such a great place to stroll down memory lane. And we were tasked with talking about traditions. And I don't think that there's much of a better place to talk about traditions than in this building itself, where, and there's so much history that goes back with our basketball team, all the way back to even like Jerry West back in the day. My granddad was here in the 60s, and he said he used to play pool with Jerry West back in the day. I don't know if that's true or if that's just a granddad story, but basketball has held our hearts ever since the time of Jerry. And now with Bob just getting inducted into the National Hall of Fame this past weekend, we thought no better place than to be in the Hall of Traditions.
All right, just two more, and then we'll pass it back over to David. What is the process to become the Mountaineer?
Yes, so there's an application. You have to write a few essays, which I know doesn't sound fun, but good thing you've got great teachers working with you that can brush up on those essay skills. And then there is a cheer off at one of our basketball games where you get to dress up like the Mountaineer and do a "Let's Go Mountaineers" chant to see who gets to be the next Mountaineer.
And then, do we have girls volleyball?
Yes, we do have girls volleyball. They're really good. All right. Well, I think that that's going to be all from us from the Basketball Hall of Traditions. We are signing off here, but thank you guys so much for stopping by and talking with Tyler today. And I think we are passing it on to the next group, but bye guys.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Tyler.
All right. Hi, y'all. My name is Anna, and I am another tour guide here at West Virginia University. First of all, just want to check, can everyone hear me? Can we give a thumbs up that everyone can hear me? We good? Sweet. All right, wonderful. Once again, my name is Anna, and I'm a tour guide here at WVU. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of information about the history of our university before we jump into some other things and we check out the Launch Lab, which is where I am right now. So our university was established in 1867. Originally, our name was actually the Agricultural College of West Virginia. So we have changed our name just 1 year after we were created. We changed it from the Agricultural College of West Virginia to West Virginia University, just so that we could offer more programs than just those agricultural ones that we started with. We are also the land grant institution of the state of West Virginia. Basically what that means is that the state gives us some extra funding every single year with the understanding that we're going to provide education, service, and research, not only to our students, but also to the whole state of West Virginia and the community around us. That's something that's super important to us, and there are not very many land grant institutions in the country, so we are very honored to have that distinguishment. And like I said, it is our responsibility to provide education. Of course, as a WVU student, you're taking classes, you're getting your education. Service, we do service in a lot of different ways, and also research. So I know research was something that I didn't know a lot about before coming to WVU, but there are a lot of opportunities to do research here, whether it's in your classes or outside of your classes, getting a lot of different types of experiences. So personally, in my experiences, I am a Spanish major, and I have a research project happening right now where outside of my classes, I am meeting with a professor and we're actually translating a book from Spanish to English and publishing it. So that's something that I've done, and there's a lot of other ways that you guys can do research, and one of them we're actually standing in right now. So this is the Launch Lab, and we're here with our good friend Austin, who's going to talk a little bit more. He's going to explain to you exactly what the Launch Lab is. He's going to tell you about his experiences here in the Launch Lab, and then we're going to get a little mini tour of our Launch Lab, which is super exciting. So I'm going to turn it over to Austin for a couple minutes.
Sure. How's everybody doing? My name's Austin Wagaman. I'm the office administrator here at the Morris L. Hayhurst Launch Lab. Now, the Launch Lab itself is an innovation center, which means we specialize in helping students take their ideas and grow them into a business. We're capable of helping in pretty much all facets of the process, whether you need help writing a business plan, whether you want help going to market and advertising. We're actually down in our Maker Lab where we have on-staff engineers. So if you have a physical product or something you want to design and build, we have guys down here who are able to help you throughout the whole process and actually build you a physical prototype. We are confidential with our client stuff, but we do have some cool things that we've 3D printed over the years. If you want to take a look over here, one of our engineers is working on a fully 3D printed Iron Man suit, which is pretty cool. Here's a couple of other randomly cool 3D printed things. There is a group in here right now working on a drone, but if you want to take a pan around the room real quick, we've got a laser engraver, laser cutter, 3D printer, filament, and resin. If there's anything that you need serious machine work done, we are right across from the engineering campus. But that's it. We'll pass it back over.
Thank you. That's awesome. So could you share with us really quickly, how did you get involved with the Maker Lab, and what was your major? What was that process like for you?
Sure. So I was the second batch of kids to actually go through the entrepreneurship program here at WVU. I went through my first couple of years of college and really hit a standstill, started to really struggle and really feel like I didn't know where I belonged, kind of what I wanted to do. I actually dropped out for a semester, and then it hit me that I should go back and check out this new entrepreneurship program because I've always loved business. I've loved getting involved, helping people with businesses, stuff like that. So as soon as I came back, I mean, my courses were super interesting. I loved all the professors and everything like that. So it really made me feel like I was at home, kind of. It was nice.
That's awesome. Thank you. And then what majors are able to do stuff like this? You see like the 3D printing and stuff. That's so cool. What kind of majors get to do things like this?
Any and all, actually. We're entirely free for students. That's the only requirement. We can help you if you're not a student, but you will have to pay for our resources. If you are a student, everything here is free. You just have to go to our website, wvulaunchlab.com, and fill out an intake form, and that's about it. We'll get you in as a client.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for showing us, guys. If you have questions about this whole, the 3D printing and the Launch Lab and all that stuff, feel free to send them in the chat. We can get those answered by Austin a little later. But like I said, this is something that, of course, Austin said, you can do regardless of your major. So if you want to study business, of course, you can do it. If you want to study dance, you could participate in this if something that works within your course load. So of course, here at WVU as a student, you're going to be taking classes. You'll have lots of different kinds of classes. I personally am a Spanish major, like I said, so I take a lot of Spanish classes, but I also take a lot of other classes. Like I had to take a science class, so I took a geography class for fun. And so you're really going to be getting a lot of different things in your education here. But of course, academics are important. That is why people come to college, is to get your college degree. But the thing that I love the most about WVU is that you can also do so many other things. So of course, I'm a Spanish major, I am taking classes, but I also share with you, I'm doing research. Students are in here doing research all the time. And so that's also something that you can participate in. Sometimes those are like campus jobs. You can get paid to do research, or you get a different campus job. I'm also a tour guide, so I get to do that as well. I get paid to talk to people about WVU, which is something that I totally love. And there are lots of different campus jobs available as well, for pretty much anything you could possibly imagine. So you can take classes, you can do research, you can have a job if you want to. And honestly, you can also do a bunch of other things. You can join student organizations like what Tyler was talking about with the Mountaineer Maniacs. You can go to all those fun sporting events that Maddie was talking about. I absolutely love going to basketball games. Those are my favorite sporting events. I don't really know a lot about basketball, but I just think it's really fun to be down there on the court, watching our Mountaineers shoot buckets. So fun. So I absolutely love going to basketball games. I also played soccer in high school. So I currently play intramural soccer here at WVU. Me and a couple of my friends we all played soccer in high school, and we were like, hey, we want to keep playing. So we have a little team and we play other groups of students here at WVU. So that's something that I get to do. There really are no limits to what you can do here as a Mountaineer. So I just want to encourage you guys that that WVU just has so much to offer, not just in your classes and things like that, but also all across campus in research, your classes, your potential jobs or student organizations, fun things that you can do around campus with your friends, and things like that. So that's what we're going to wrap up with today for our session. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to send them in the chat and we will start getting those answered either for me or for Austin, more specifically about the Launch Lab or other things regarding his experiences as well.
Anna, I'm sorry, I don't think you could hear me when I asked my question. Walton Middle School asked what's a class size for the lab, just on average?
What was a class size, an average class size here?
Oh, great question. So I think the question was what an average class size is here at WVU. So that's a great question. 90% of our classes are going to be 60 students or less. And then 82% of those are going to be 40 students or less. So 82% of your classes, which is pretty much all of them, are going to be no more than 40 students. Now, I will tell you, you may have to take a class or two that's larger. We do have some classes that are around 150 students. They could be larger than that, but those really aren't going to be any more than 5 to 10% of the classes that you're taking. And there are a lot of resources that the university has to kind of help make those feel a little bit smaller. We have a lot of ways where you can get to know students in those classes, lots of opportunities to ask questions to your professors and teachers, lots of ways to get extra help with those. So if that's something that's scary to you, don't be alarmed. It's really not a big deal. There's lots of ways to help with that. And you're really not going to be taking very many of them. Currently, I'm taking 5 classes and 3 of them have I want to say around 35, maybe 40 students in them. And then the other 2 have less than 20. So I've really had some small class sizes. And of course, as you get further into your major and you're taking more and more specific classes as you get older, those class sizes are just going to continue to get smaller and smaller. So I hope that answered your question, if it didn't, but do we have any other questions?
Yeah, so are there services that help you decide your major?
Yeah, are there services that help you decide your major? That's a great question. So yes, there are. So if listen, when I was in 8th grade, I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't even know what I wanted to do when I was a senior in high school. So if you decide to come to WVU as an undecided major, you're not really sure what you want to do, then you will actually meet with your academic advisor, who is an expert, and you're going to have a one-on-one meeting with them. They're an expert in trying to help you figure out what you might want to do. So what that means is, let's say, you're undecided, but like, hey, I love math and science. Like, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm really good at math. I'm really good at science. Like, your advisor is going to look at you and they're going to say like, okay, so, let's kind of work with that. Like, you really like math and science, so maybe let's put you in an engineering class just to see if you like it. Or maybe let's put you in like a health sciences, a medical class to see if you like it. Or if you're like, hey, I'm undecided, but I really hate math and science, I really love writing, then they might put you in a journalism class, something, you know what I mean? Like something along those lines to kind of help you start figuring out what you want. And that's going to be something that you are required to do every semester, is meet with that advisor one-on-one. They're a professional. They may be a professor that you might even have. And their entire job is to make sure that you figure out what you want to do and kind of figure out what major you choose to major in. So that's a great question. That's in our Student Services Center. So that's available to you. And that's something you'll do if you come in as an undecided student. Hope that helps.
This one's for you. It says, how long should 3D print the Iron Man suit?
Gavin, how long does 3D print the Iron Man suit? Well, you have to do it in a lot of pieces, and a lot of those pieces take, what do you think, days, 24 hours a piece or something?
Piece takes a day.
Yeah.
It's like the helmet takes 2 days.
2 days for the helmet. Each piece took like a day. And that's a successful day too. With 3D printing, there are a lot of finicky kind of issues that you can run into that'll slow you down along the way. But he's made it pretty far, so he's getting pretty close.
Do we have a robotics team? Yeah, we do. So that is primarily through our engineering department, I'm pretty sure. So we have students that I think it's typically our mechanical engineers, and they will, basically do what robotics team is, make robots. I'm not very good at math and science, so I was not on the robotics team, but they make robots. One time I was actually walking through campus and I saw some engineering students like with a remote control driving their little robot through campus, which was super fun. But they will also participate in different competitions, like the Mars rover competition. So we have created Mars rovers that NASA will then like evaluate and give us feedback on, which is super cool. So yes, there's a lot of opportunities for robotics experience here at WVU. Great question.
Last one. How many classes do you need to take each year?
So there's not technically like a minimum amount of classes that you have to take. So you'll actually switch your classes each semester. So you will sign up for classes from the beginning of the school year in August, and those will last until December. And then starting in January, you'll actually take new classes until May at the end of the semester. So for one semester, to be a full-time student, that is 12 credits, which is usually just about 4 classes. So that's the minimum to be a full-time student, but you don't have to be a full-time student. But that's basically usually around 4, sometimes 5 or 6.
They want to know if they can see the 3D printer working. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Come right this way. I'm not sure exactly what we are 3D printing at the moment, but basically takes a spool of filament, which is plastic, extrudes it down through and melts it. There's a really hot end right below this. So it melts the plastic, and then it prints your full piece layer by layer. So it'll do a whole layer and then just keep building right on top of it. Yeah, sure. Here's some fully finished 3D prints right here. Again, I'm not entirely sure what the client's purpose for these pieces are. We do have some resin stuff as well. So this is a really malleable print, but.
Cool, thanks, Austin. Is that the last question that we had? All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys. We're gonna pass it over, I believe, to David, but thank you guys for coming. I'm so glad that we got to show you this, and let's go Mountaineers.
Awesome. Well, welcome back, everyone. Let me try to share my screen. I have a little presentation for you. Okay, can everyone see this? Are we? Can I get a thumbs up if we can see it? I can't. Yep. Okay, awesome. Cool. So welcome to WVU. I'm glad that you guys have been able to hear from some of the best students here on campus, as well as see some of our favorite traditions and some of our favorite spaces and college partners here on campus. We have lots to offer here at WVU. Like Anna said, this is I believe, to be the university that just gives you the most opportunities that you could ever ask for. So I'm hopefully going to tell you a little bit more about WVU and what it would be like being a student here, what the admission process is like, and a little bit more about some of our opportunities here in Morgantown. So WVU is a statewide institution. We're not just located here in Morgantown. We have 3 different campuses. We have WVU Tech over in Beckley, West Virginia. We have WVU Potomac State over in Kaiser, West Virginia. And then we have WVU, the Morgantown campus here in Morgantown. Now, altogether, that is a student population of almost 30,000 students. However, that is broken up over the 3 campuses. So you'll see on this screen that Beckley and Kaiser have 1,000 to 2,000 students each, and then the majority of the students are here in Morgantown. Now, you can use these to your advantage because let's say you are here in school on the Morgantown campus, yet you are doing a summer job at the New River Gorge. So you're down near Beckley. If you wanted, you could take summer classes at Beckley, or if you were over doing a summer job near Kaiser, you could take summer classes at Kaiser. You can take classes at any of these 3 campuses with no extra paperwork to really fill out because they are all part of the same institution. So even for me, for example, I was in Morgantown when I was here, and there was a semester where I was looking for a certain class to fit my schedule, and I couldn't find one that fit the schedule. I couldn't find the one that I wanted that would fit my schedule. So I looked to see if Beckley or Kaiser had an online version of the one I wanted, and Beckley did. So even though I had 3 to 4 classes here in Morgantown, I also took an online course through our Beckley campus. So it makes your options even greater. As Anna mentioned, we are an R1 designated research institution, and what that means is that in the United States, there's over 4,500 colleges and universities, and every single one of them is given a research designation. And so we are in the top tier. We are in the best designation that we can get that a college can get for research. There are only 130 colleges that get this R1 status. So some of the other colleges that get this are the big fancy ones like Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. But then also some of the other really big state schools that also meet the research requirements, like University of Tennessee or Florida State University. So we are really, really proud to hold this status. Not only does it bring some of the best faculty members here, because they want to come to institutions in which they can do their research and their research can be funded and they can have a lot of students to participate in that research. For example, I am 1 year away from finishing my doctorate program, so I've already been looking at universities to apply to be a faculty member at, and at the top of my list are the ones with the R1 designated status, because those are the ones that have the extra finances, the extra funding, the extra students to be able to do this. What it also means for you as a student, though, is that from your very first semester, from your very first year here on campus, you can get involved in research. So if you're looking to get into a competitive program, like maybe it's nursing or engineering, or you're looking to get into med school or something after that, then research can be a really cool way to bump up your resume. But it's also, like Anna said, it doesn't have to be just that normal sitting in a lab and looking at microscopes. Like Anna is translating a Spanish book. When I was here, I did a project on religion, and that was part of my research. We've had students who have been flown to Stockholm, Sweden, and they've presented in the same room that the Nobel Peace Prize is handed out because they did some of their research. So research covers everything. I think we even, during the pandemic, we had a faculty member and a student in the Creative Arts Center do research on singing with masks. And so that was the research project they did. So I mean it when I say research can be anything you are interested in. And that's the really cool part about being a researcher in college. It's not scary. It's not boring. It makes education really fun. Anna already touched on being a Big 12 school, so did Maddie. And as we heard from Maddie and Tyler, being part of the Big 12 conference is on the surface level, it looks a lot like being really proud to be Mountaineers and really proud to support each other. We have 17 different D1 athletic teams, and all of those events you as students can go to for free. But the cool part about being part of the Big 12 conference is not just in our sports, but it's also in some of the extra opportunities you have. So let's say we are, like, for example, our student government or any of our other clubs, they could go to a conference where they get to work together with other students from other colleges who are part of the Big 12 conference. Being part of the Big 12 conference is just a list of colleges who are kind of like same with middle school. Like in middle school, you have a conference that you're a part of for sports. Well, in college, that kind of expands past sports. And so we're in this conference and we get to attend those events as students in our academic programs, as well as in the sporting world. We have club sports, which are a really cool way. So let's say you don't want to be a D1 athlete where you are practicing and doing these really intense competitions or practice schedules. We have club sports where you can kind of make your own experience. So some of our club sports are really competitive and you may have to practice 5 days a week and go to competitions every weekend, or you may have to try out to see if you're on varsity or not. And but then we also have some that only practice once a week and that go to competitions. So it's really kind of make it what you want, and it depends on the club sport that you're interested in. But we have every club sport that you can probably think of. If you have a sport at your school, then I can almost guarantee we have a club sport of that here at WVU. We even have a couple kind of quirky clubs like Ultimate Frisbee, or if you know of Harry Potter, then we have a Harry Potter club where literally college students are running around the field on broomsticks throwing Nerf balls through these hoops. And it sounds ridiculous and it looks ridiculous, but they actually travel the country and they win, and they're a pretty good team. So that's kind of cool. We also have intramural sports, and an intramural sport is the college version of just going to have fun, right? So our rec center, our student recreational center, is kind of like a gym. It has a pool in it and a rock climbing wall and all these like football and baseball and soccer fields that you can access, basketball courts, racquetball, it's weightlifting. All of that is in the student rec center. And part of the student rec center is that they host intramural sports. So throughout the year, they will rotate through different clubs or different sports where they'll just have 1 to 6 week programs that you can join in with just anyone. You don't go to practice for it. You just go and compete in the tournament and see how far you can make it. For example, I did an intramural volleyball competition once with some friends. It was only a 1 week commitment for me because we were out the very first week. So it can range from 1 to 6 weeks, and those are a really fun way just to get out there and have fun. We're a big school with a small school feel. This slide meant a lot to me, as I'm sure it does a lot of you guys as well, because I'm from West Virginia, just like you guys. And so I went to a pretty small school, and I was really afraid that coming to WVU, I was gonna get swallowed by all the people, right? There's almost 30,000 people that are on this campus, and I was in a small school with only a few hundred people at the time. So I was afraid I wasn't going to get the opportunities that I had in high school, and I could not have been more wrong. Being at WVU, I've had so many opportunities that have been awesome. I actually went to grad school at a really small school, and although I loved that experience, I did not have the opportunities that WVU gave me. So I ultimately came back here and will finish out my academic and professional career here because I love it so much and I love being a Mountaineer. Now, some of the things that it looks like for that is, so even though we are a big school and even though we have so many opportunities, let's say we have about 500 student clubs, even though we have all of those student clubs, each of those clubs doesn't have 500 people in it. Each of those clubs only has 15 to 20 people in it. So the groups that you're hanging out with, the experiences that you're getting are still very catered to what you want. And I didn't expect that whenever I was initially coming to WVU. And that was one of the big things that I was proven wrong about. And I'm very grateful for that. So in college at WVU, we structure our programs. So our major is what you choose to study. So if you really like math, maybe you're going to study math major, or maybe you're going to major in engineering or something along those lines, business, economics. Those will all be things if you like math. And so let's say you like math, you major in that. Well, let's say you choose engineering. If you're an engineering major, you are going to be part of the Statler College of Engineering at West Virginia University. So colleges and schools are how we break down the university into more organized, a more organized system for our programs. So even though, yes, we say, yeah, I'm going to college at WVU, or I'm going to school at West Virginia University, those are all true, but even under the umbrella of West Virginia University, you have 14 different schools and colleges that make up the university as a whole. I know that's kind of a confusing topic, but it's basically just a way to organize our majors. Now, there are 3 main campuses within Morgantown. So here in Morgantown, we have our downtown area of campus, our Evansdale area of campus, and our health sciences area of campus. The downtown area of campus is where your traditional college feel is going to be. And each of these areas of campus house certain programs. So if you can read the screen, you'll see which programs are housed on which campus. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have classes between them. I saw a question pop in earlier that said about how long are each of your classes? Well, that's a really good question, because depending on where you're at and what day of the week changes the class time you have. So typically, if you're in class on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, your classes are only going to be about 45 to 50 minutes long. Now, if you go to class on Tuesday or Thursday, your classes are going to be about an hour and 20 minutes long. No, yeah, about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes long. So they kind of vary. That's so that they typically put your labs and some of your longer classes on Tuesday and Thursday. So even though you may have a longer class on a Tuesday or Thursday, it's because you're only going to it twice that week. Whereas your Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, you're going 3 times, but they're a little bit shorter. Now, even if you have classes between areas of campus, so let's say you have a class downtown, but then you also have a class on Evansdale, the way that we structure is that downtown is going to end their classes at like 11:30, and your Evansdale class would not start until 12. So there's a built-in 30-minute gap to travel between these areas of campus. The areas of campus are about a mile apart, but we have a really cool transportation system called the PRT, or the Personal Rapid Transit. If you can imagine, if you've been to Disney World, there's a Disney monorail that takes you to the 4 different parks, and there's a couple extra locations along the way. And that's kind of what this does here in Morgantown. It's kind of like an above ground subway that takes you around to the different areas of campus. And I don't know if you guys can see me or if you can only see my screen, but if you can see me, then I'm sitting right in front of the PRT station. You may see a couple carts go by. If you can't see right now, I will be sure to show you whenever I stop this presentation. So we've already talked about sports and clubs. Literally all clubs. We have 450 student clubs and organizations, and they cover everything. They cover everything from student or community service clubs. They cover academic clubs. They cover religious organizations. They cover social clubs, athletic clubs, like we mentioned earlier. There are gaming clubs. There's even a breadstick eating club. So we have lots of different clubs, and basically, if we don't have a club that you want, it's really, really easy to start one. So don't let that deter you, because it's super easy to start one, and they are great ways. I always tell students to come in with the mindset of getting involved in an academic one and a fun one. For me, I did rock climbing. I learned how to be a rock climbing guide. I got certified it's called belay certification, and it's where I tie a fancy knot to put people up on the rock wall. So that was something that I did while I was here, but there are so many clubs. So if you have a specific question about a club, then put them in the chat and I'll try to answer that here shortly. We have study abroad opportunities and a career services center. Basically, if you wanted to go study in another country, it would be very, very low cost for you. We have all kinds of schools across the globe that help us have that opportunity. And we have a career services center that is dedicated to helping you find a job after. Even after you graduate from WVU, you can still use the career services center to build your resume or ask for jobs, because once you're a Mountaineer, you have forever access to the Career Services Center. We have 12 different residence halls here on campus, and those are where you would live during your freshman year here. It's basically like getting to live with your best friend, and it's awesome. Lots of cool things there. let's see, paying for college. So college can get expensive. Luckily for in-state, it's a little bit cheaper than most places. So that's really awesome. You can kind of look at the statistics here on the page, but a really good way to be able to pay for college is to prep yourself for getting scholarships down the road. I like to tell every West Virginia student that if you try really hard, we have that Promise Scholarship, and we have a few other scholarships that if you try really hard to work towards that, then that's going to be a big help for you when you come to college. But even if this Promise Scholarship or other scholarships are not part of your future, there are lots of ways to be able to pay for school. So don't let the price deter you, because there are lots of financial options at your disposal. You just have to know where to search for those. And I'm personally telling each of you right now, if you get to that point and you're like, you know what, I just don't know where I can find the money to go to college, track me down. My name is David Westfall. I'll probably still be working for the university. So track me down, ask me to meet with you, and I'm happy to talk you through some options you have, because I am a big believer that everyone has the opportunity to go to college if they want it. And so I will help make that happen for you. There are several ways to apply, but you guys have a while before you need to worry about that. So I'm not going to break down the admissions timeline for you guys. So you have enough to think about. But for in the meantime, something you can do, a way to get involved in WVU now, is to visit us on social media. So we're really easy to find. Just type in WVU admissions or West Virginia U on Instagram, and you can keep up with us there. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this slideshow so that I know we're running out of time, and I'm sure that we have a couple questions to try to get through.
David, thank you so much. We have just a couple of minutes. So teachers, please put in the chat box any questions you have for David or any of the great presenters that he might be able to answer for. You've had great questions throughout. I know this is a lot of information, but as David said, WVU has a lot to offer, so it's hard to condense it down. Let's take a look. Anything in the chat?
If you guys can see, this is our PRT. It's going by right now. So we do have a wrestling club. We also have an anime club, and I don't know if we specifically have a cosplay club, but we have a club called Moment of Magic, and it's where you get to you get assigned a character. So let's say Spider-Man or Cinderella. You get to dress as that character, and you get to go into the hospital, and you get to be that character for the sick students or for the sick kiddos and their families. So it's a really cool way to kind of have that cosplay experience. But like I said, it's very easy to start a club if you don't have it the way that you want it here. We do have a pre-vet program. We actually have a really cool program where, since we don't have a veterinary school right now, we have partnerships with vet schools across the country. So I know we have a couple in Virginia and a couple elsewhere, where basically WVU is guaranteed, I don't know the exact number, we'll say 3. WVU is guaranteed 3 to 5 spots in their vet class every single year. So that's a really cool way for you to make to have extra opportunities in getting into vet school. We have a major called Animal and Nutritional Science. That would be our pre-vet major you would want to look into. Our acceptance rate is pretty high. You need a 2.0 to be able to be accepted here, and so that's what you should shoot for. How much does it cost for a non-student to use the 3D printer? I'm not sure. That would be, you can look on the website. If you go to the WVU Launch Lab, you'll be able to find more information there. What is the maximum number of classes you can take a semester? So that's a great question. As Anna mentioned, a full-time class schedule is 12 credits. However, I will say most students, to maintain their scholarships, they have to take 30 credits a year. So that typically comes out as being 15 credits per semester, which is about 5 classes. Now, the max number of classes you can take a semester is you can take 21 credit hours, which is about 7 classes per semester. But I don't necessarily recommend that. That's a lot. That would be hard. But also, if you want to go anywhere above that, you have to get special permission. So in certain circumstances, you can appeal that and get permission to take more. What kind of energy does the train system use to run? It runs on electricity. And yes, there is an anime club. Is there a cooking club? Yeah, I don't know if we have a specific, like I said, we have a Cheddar Bay biscuit eating club and we have a breadstick eating club. They kind of compete with each other because one's more Olive Garden and one's more, what's it called? Oh, what's that other one? Red Lobster, that's what it is. So there are cooking clubs, we have cooking shows, we have something called Well WVU, which is a program here at WVU, and people will teach you how to use different cooking utensils and teach you different cooking recipes. I'll answer 2 more questions. Is there a GSA club? So is that the Gay Straight Alliance Club? Correct me if I'm wrong. We have something called the LGBTQ Center here at WVU, which is a center dedicated to represent LGBTQ students and allies. And so there are lots and lots of ways they are posting stuff on their Instagram platform all the time. You can follow them by going to WVU LGBTQ Center, and you can see the type of events that they put on. They have a whole center where you can go, you can print things for free, you can play games, all kinds of stuff. Does 4-H offer scholarships? That is something you're going to have to look for within each of your individual counties because they would probably differ based on the county. But you can also go to WVU Extension. I'll put that in the chat. WVU Extension Services. And they work a lot with the WVU or with 4-H programs across the state to so they would be able to help you identify some of those. Well, I'm sure that we
Great.
are out of
David.
time.
Thank you, David, so much. Thank West Virginia University for guiding us on today's virtual college visit. We really appreciate your time and all the wonderful participation. Teachers, I want to remind you to take a post-visit survey so we can collect important information that will help us plan these in the future.